Villagers from the area known as the Horombua 14th Mile Post in Mondragala continue to charge that the Department of Wildlife is yet to take action to put a stop to the persisting threat of wild elephants. These locals have been facing this threat for the past 6 days. A Newsfirst team visited the area today to understand the gravity of this situation.
Yesterday could be termed as the 6th night that these locals from Horombua spent with fear of a wild elephant attack. These locals saved themselves by simply sacrificing their farmlands and cultivation, on which they spent colossal amounts of sweat and tears. 3 acres of banana cultivation and 250 coconut trees were destroyed by wild elephants who come from the Horombua Degal Aramba Forest Reserve.
This is the electric fence that separates the village from the forest reserve. The villagers believe that with this fence being set up, wild elephants would not encroach on their village. Were elephants actually fooled by this? When one touches this, he should be electrocuted. It did not happen to me. This may have fooled the villagers, but has not fooled the elephants. Due to this reason, wild elephants stormed into the village in the recent past. This eventually caused a human-elephant conflict. When we came here, we witnessed another reason for the escalating human-elephant conflict, that is the activity taking place within the forest reserve. We are attempting to enter the forest reserve and gather evidence for this claim.
₹9 million has been spent on the construction of an elephant fence to prevent elephant attacks. However, the electricity supply is yet to be provided for this fence to function. Although the department attempts to fool the elephants with just placing the fence, elephants know to be intelligent and destroy the fence and storm into the villages and plantations.
When we moved 4 kilometers into the forest reserve, we noticed that the plains in which the elephants roam in have been destroyed by grazing cattle. After the cattle graze on these grounds, the elephants are left with nothing to eat. Human activity is also taking place within the forest reserve.
According to the Fauna and Flora Protection Ordinance of Sri Lanka, no person shall lead or allow any domestic animal to stray in any national reserve. However, the breach of this legislation was captured on Newsfirst cameras. One notable fact is the study of national parks in Sri Lanka is that when domestic animals such as cattle are moved into a national park, wild elephants in the park are sluggish to remain in the national park. Wild elephants often do not prefer to eat from big trees and however are keen to eat grass. When cattle are moved into the national park, the grazing grounds are taken by the cattle and thereby forces the wild elephants to resort to alternate food sources. The villagers of the Horombua 14th Mile Post are facing the consequences of moving cattle into a forest reserve.
There is evidence that the cattle were held at this location even last night. The cow dung here is fresh. It is not possible to clearly locate the herd of cattle inside the forest reserve. They have been moved to different locations to graze. According to what we have heard, there are 6 such pens in the forest reserve that accommodate around 300 animals. If you take it as a whole, there are around 700 such animals in these woods.
As wildlife officials continue to neglect the complaints filed by these locals for the past 6 days, they turn a blind eye to many illegal facts such as completely violating the Fauna and Flora Protection Ordinance of Sri Lanka.
I think the Sirasa media may have gone there at a time when the fence is under construction. At present, construction of the entire fence is complete. If there are shortcomings in providing electricity, those matters will be addressed. I have instructed the officials to act on this.
Locals lament that temporary solutions to this issue simply causes more fear among them.
At several places, you witness roads being made inside the forest reserve. If this situation continues, it will be deemed impossible to put a stop to the human-elephant conflict in this area, even with the construction of an electric fence. It is clear that forests need to be protected in order to provide a permanent answer to these issues.
Many areas experienced wild elephant attacks this year. Many villagers from Galgamur step onto the streets demanding a solution to this issue. 6 wild elephants completely destroy a maize cultivation in Bandurassa, Shravastipura, Anuradhapura. 23-year-old killed in a wild elephant attack in Galgamuwa, Habarana. Ten acres of paddy land in Kalahagala, Polonnaru were destroyed by wild elephants. Wild elephants destroy a paddy land in Madagama, Kurunagala. Yesterday, wild elephants destroyed 2 acres of paddy land in Ahatuava. When will a solution be provided for the human-elephant conflict experienced across the country?